Captain Daeho Kim stood tall on the bridge of the Earth Union, ship Peacemaker *. Today was a day for history books. Humans would meet aliens for the first time. "Captain, we're getting a signal," said Communications Officer Han Byul. Her eyes were wide with wonder. "The alien ship wants to dock." Daeho nodded. "Let them come. And tell Dr. Park to meet me in the welcome bay." The Peacemaker floated in the empty space of the Andromeda Corridor. It was far from Earth, picked as a safe meeting spot. Neither human nor alien would have the home advantage. Dr. Terry Park hurried down the corridor to meet the captain. As the ship's top scientist, she had waited her whole life for this moment. "Nervous?" asked Daeho when she arrived. "Excited," Terry said with a smile. "Think about it. We're about to meet beings from a whole different world." The docking bay doors hissed open. 3 tall figures stepped through. The Allians had smooth blue-gray skin that seemed to shine under the lights. Their 4 arms moved with grace. They had no hair, and their eyes were large and black. They wore simple white clothes that flowed around their thin bodies. "Welcome to the Peacemaker *, said Daeho with a small bow. "I am Captain Kim Daeho of the Earth Union." The tallest alien stepped forward. "I am High Emissary. We bring greetings from the Alien Collective." Its voice was soft but clear, coming from a small device on its chest. Dr. Park couldn't stop staring. The aliens' bodies seemed to be covered in a thin shell, like insects on Earth. The meeting moved to the conference room. For hours, they talked about their worlds, their science, and their ways of life. "Your quantum physics is quite basic," said one alien to Dr. Park, "but you could learn quickly with our help." Terry wasn't sure if she should be insulted or grateful. "We would be happy to share knowledge," she said carefully. As the meeting went on, Daeho noticed the Allians kept asking about Earth's biology. They seemed very interested in human genetics. "We would like access to your complete genetic databases," the High Emissary finally said. "It would help us understand your species better." Daeho frowned. "That's a big request. What would Earth get in return?" "Our friendship," said the emissary. Its black eyes showed no emotion. "Is that not enough?" The room grew quiet. The humans looked at each other. "I'm afraid we would need to discuss this with our leaders," said Daeho. "Such information is private to our people." The High Emissary stood up suddenly. All 3 aliens seemed to grow taller. "This is disappointing," it said. "The collective expected more. Wisdom from your kind." Dr. Park stepped forward. "We mean no offense, but surely you understand our caution. We just met." "Caution," said the emissary, "is the excuse of the weak. Those who refuse the collective's embrace will face the consequences of their pride." With that, the Allians turned and left the room. They didn't say goodbye. Later, as the alien ship moved away, Daeho stood by the window in his private room. "What do you think that meant?" asked Terry, joining him. "Consequences of pride." Daeho kept watching the alien ship until it disappeared among the stars. "Nothing good," he said quietly. "Nothing good at all." He pressed a button on his wrist computer. "Communications, send a message to Earth Command. Priority 1. "What should it say, Captain?" Han Byul's voice came through. Daeho took a deep breath. "Tell them first contact was made, and tell them to prepare. I don't think we've made friends today." As the Peacemaker turned toward home, no one on board knew that humanity had just met its greatest threat, and that in 3 months' time, the name Alien would make humans shake with fear. 3 months passed. The Earth Union leaders did not agree to the Allians' demands. They sent messages offering to talk more, but the Allians stopped answering. On a cool morning, the alarm sounded at Earth Command Center. "Sir, we've lost contact with New Busan," said Officer Jae-seok, his face pale as he looked up from his screen. General Subin frowned. New Busan was Earth's newest colony. With 5,000 people, It was far from Earth but important for mining rare metals. "Try again," she ordered. "I've tried 7 times, sir. No answer for the past 12 hours. General Subin called Commander Jun-Ho Lee to her office. He was known for his calm thinking during hard times. "Take your best team," she told him. "Find out what happened to New Busan." 2 days later, Commander Lee's ship landed on New Busan. The colony looked normal from the outside. Buildings stood tall. The power plant hummed. But there were no people. No movement. "Stay alert," Jun-Ho told his team of 6 soldiers. "Something is wrong here." They walked through empty streets. The colony's main square was empty too. No bodies. No signs of fighting. "It's like everyone just left," said Sergeant Minna, looking around with her weapon ready. Then they found the first house with its door open. Inside, they saw the blood. It covered the floor, the walls, the furniture. "Check the other buildings," ordered Jun-Ho, his voice tight. In every home, every office, every shop, the same sight. Blood, torn clothes, but no bodies. No people. "Commander, the security center is still working," called out Lieutenant Du Yun from a nearby building. Inside, they found the colony's security videos. With shaking hands, Du Yun played the recordings from 3 days ago. The team watched in horror. The video showed strange ships landing outside the colony. Huge creatures came out, taller than humans, with 6 arms and hard, shell-like skin. They had no faces, just tools where heads should be. Tools that looked like drills, saws, and claws. "What are they?" whispered Minne. On the video, the creatures moved quickly through the colony. They caught the people and used their strange tools. The sound was off, but the team could see people screaming as the creatures took them apart, piece by piece. "They're harvesting them." Du Yun turned away, unable to watch. Jun-Ho forced himself to keep looking. The creatures were careful with the bones. They collected every piece of human skeleton and carried them back to their ships. The flesh, the organs, everything else, they left behind. "Sir," called a soldier from another room. "We found where they put the remains." In the colony's large freezer room, they found what was left of 5,000 people after their bones were removed. Jun-Ho ordered his team back to the ship. As they prepared to leave, all screens in the colony suddenly turned on. An alien face appeared. "People of Earth," said the alien, its voice cold, "you have seen our bone crackers at work. This is the price of refusing us." The screen showed images of more creatures being loaded onto ships. "You have 60 days to surrender and provide full access to your genetic materials, or we will visit every human settlement, one by one." The bone crackers enjoy their work. The message ended. The screens went dark. On the flight back to Earth, Jun-Ho wrote his report. His hands wouldn't stop shaking. "They didn't attack New Busan to win a war," he wrote. "They did it to make us afraid." And it worked. When Earth Command saw the videos from New Busan, they knew regular weapons might not be enough against these bone crackers. They needed something else. Something the Allians wouldn't expect. Earth's leaders met in an underground room in Seoul. The air was heavy with fear. On the big screen, they watched Earth's best weapons fail against the bone crackers. Missiles hit the creatures but did little damage. Bullets bounced off their hard shells. When soldiers did manage to hurt them, the bone crackers simply grew back their damaged parts. "We lost another colony yesterday," said General Subin. "That's 3 now. Thousands dead." The room went quiet. Admiral Young-Mi Kang, head of Earth's Space Forces, stood up slowly. "We have 42 days left," she said. "Our normal weapons won't work. We need something else." "Like what?" asked someone. "We've tried everything." Admiral Kang looked around the room. "Not everything. There's Project Ancestral Memory." Many faces showed confusion. Others looked worried. "That's just research," said General Subin. "Old stories and myths. not weapons. Dr. Choi doesn't think they're just stories, said Admiral Kang. She pressed a button, and a new face appeared on the screen. Dr. Hyun-woo Choi was a small man with kind eyes and messy hair. He had spent 20 years studying ancient Korean texts and artifacts. Dr. Choi, said Admiral Kang, tell them what you found. For years, I've studied old writings about the Forgotten Ones, said Dr. Choi. Most people think they're just legends, but I found this. He held up an old metal disc with strange writing. This is from a site under the East Sea. The writing tells of 7 powerful beings who helped humans fight star creatures long ago. After winning, these beings were put to sleep in special chambers deep under the sea. The leaders looked doubtful. Star creatures? One asked. You think they were Allians? I don't know, said Dr. Choi. But the description matches, and so does the timing. About 7,000 years ago, when we have evidence of a sudden change in human development. Admiral Kang stepped forward again. We found the underground site. It's real. And there are chambers there, just like in the stories. The room burst into loud talking. Some leaders thought it was crazy to believe old myths. Others were ready to try anything. Enough, shouted Admiral Kang. While we argue, more people die. I've already given the order to explore the site fully. 2 days later, Dr. Choi stood at the entrance of a massive underground complex. It was hidden beneath the East Sea floor. The walls were made of a smooth black material no one recognized. How old did you say this place is? Asked Captain Ji-won Song, who led the Special Forces team protecting Dr. Choi. At least 7,000 years, said Dr. Choi. Maybe older. That's impossible, said Ji-won. No one could build something like this back then. Dr. Choi touched the strange wall. Unless they had help. They walked deeper into the complex. Their lights showed long hallways and rooms filled with unknown machines. Everything was covered in the same strange writing from the metal disc. There, said Dr. Choi, pointing ahead. The chamber room. They entered a large round room. In the center stood 7 glass-like tubes, each big enough to hold a person. The tubes were connected to machines that still hummed with power after thousands of years. Captain Ji-won stepped closer to look inside the first tube. She jumped back with a gasp. Inside was a person, a woman who looked like she was sleeping. They're all occupied, said one of the soldiers, checking the other tubes. Dr. Choi walked slowly around the tubes, reading the writing on each one. What does it say? Asked Ji-won. It says, wake the forgotten ones only when the Star Eaters return. Their sleep is our safety. Their awakening is our hope. Just then, Dr. Choi's phone beeped. It was a message from Admiral Kang. Another colony had been hit by bone crackers. Over 10,000 dead this time. It's time, said Captain Ji-won, her face hard with anger and determination. Wake them up. Dr. Choi stood before the first tube, his hands shaking. The writing on the control panel was old, but he had studied it for years. Are you sure about this? Asked Captain Ji-won. Her team stood ready, guns pointed at the tubes. No one knew what would come out. No, said Dr. Choi honestly. But the Allians have destroyed 4 colonies now. We're running out of time and options. Ji-won nodded and showed Dr. Choi her phone. On it was a video of bone crackers attacking the newest colony. People ran screaming as the tall creatures caught them with their many arms. The video ended with a child being taken. Do it, said Ji-won, her voice hard. Dr. Choi pressed a series of symbols on the first tube. The machines around them hummed louder. Lights flashed on the control panel. I think it's working, he said. The liquid inside the tube changed from clear to blue. The sleeping woman inside moved slightly. Then her eyes opened. Everyone stepped back. Even the soldiers looked afraid. The front of the tube slid open. The blue liquid drained away. The woman took a step forward and then fell to her knees, coughing. Be careful, warned Ji-won as Dr. Choi moved to help the woman. The woman looked up. Her eyes were strange. dark but with tiny lights in them, like stars in a night sky. Her skin seemed to shift color slightly as she looked around. "Where am I?" she asked in perfect Korean. Dr. Choi helped her stand. "You're in the chamber where you've been sleeping. My name is Dr. Choi Hyunwoo. This is Captain Song Jae-won." The woman touched her own face, as if checking it was real. "How long?" "We think about 7,000 years, said Dr. Choi. The woman didn't seem surprised. She just nodded. "My name is Seo Jin. Are the Star Eaters back?" Jae-won and Dr. Choi looked at each other. "We call them Allians," said Jae-won. "They've created creatures called bone crackers that are killing our people. Are those the Star Eaters?" Seo Jin's skin changed color slightly, turning paler. "Show me." Jae-won played the video of the bone crackers again. Seo Jin watched without emotion. "Yes," she finally said. "Those are the creations of the Star Eaters. They look different now, but their purpose is the same, to harvest biological material." "We need your help," said Dr. Choi. "The stories say you fought them before." Seo Jin looked at the other 6 tubes. "Not just me. All of us. Wake my brothers and sisters." Dr. Choi started the awakening process for the second tube. Inside was a tall man with the same star-filled eyes as Seo Jin. "This is Dong Hyuk," said Seo Jin as the tube opened. One by one, they woke the others. Hai Jin, Minho, Yunji, and Jae-sung. Each had the same strange eyes. Each moved with unusual grace. The last tube was different. It was larger, and the writing on it was more complex. "This holds Sangwoo," said Seo Jin, "our leader." Dr. Choi worked on the controls, but frowned. "Something's wrong. The system is showing damage." When the tube finally opened, the man inside didn't move. His skin was gray, and his chest barely rose with breath. "He's dying," said Hai-jin, touching Sang-woo's face. The sleep chamber was damaged. It kept him alive, but barely. "Can you heal him?" asked Jae-won. "Perhaps," said Hai-jin, "but he must wake first. We need him." Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the complex. Jae-won's phone rang. It was Admiral Kang. "Captain, you need to get out of there now," the Admiral said, her voice urgent. "Our sensors just picked up alien ships entering Earth's atmosphere, dozens of them, and they're heading straight for your location." Dr. Choi looked at Seo Jin with wide eyes. "They know you're waking up. They're coming to stop us." Seo Jin turned to her awakened siblings. "The Star Eaters remember us," she said. "Good. We remember them too." She touched Sang-woo's face gently. "Wake up, brother. The hunt begins again." "We need to move," said Captain Jae-won. "The Allians will be here soon." "Not yet," said Seo Jin. "Sang-woo is still too weak, and you need to understand who we are." The ground shook. The alien ships were getting closer. "We don't have time for stories," argued Jae-won. "Make time," said Seo Jin. Her eyes flashed with tiny stars. "What you think we are will affect how you fight beside us." Dr. Choi stepped between them. "Tell us quickly, then." Yunji, the smallest of the forgotten ones, touched the wall. Instantly, the wall lit up with moving pictures. It showed ancient humans building amazing cities. "Long ago," said Seo Jin, "humans were more advanced than you are now. They built great things and traveled among the stars." The wall showed spaceships leaving Earth. Then they met the Star Eaters, the Allians. At first, they seemed friendly. They traded knowledge. But the Allians wanted something humans had, special elements in their bones. The images changed to show Allians attacking humans with creatures like the bone crackers. The war was terrible. Humans were losing. So the greatest human scientists created us. Now the wall showed 7 people in tubes, just like the ones they had been sleeping in. "We are not gods or spirits," said Minho. "We are weapons, made from human and alien DNA, designed to fight the Star Eaters. Jaiwan looked shocked. "You're part alien." "We are what you would now call genetically engineered," said Haijin gently. "Created to have specific abilities the Allians could not fight against." The wall now showed the 7 Forgotten Ones fighting. They moved faster than normal humans. Their hands glowed when they touched the Allians, who seemed to melt at the touch. "We can break down their molecular structure," explained Dongyuk. "Our touch disrupts their biology. We can also communicate with and control advanced technology." As if to prove his point, Dongyuk waved his hand. All the ancient machines in the room hummed to life, lights blinking. "We helped humans win the war," said Seojin, "but the cost was high. Most of the advanced human civilization was destroyed. The images showed burning cities and few survivors. The humans who remained decided to start over. They sealed away all advanced technology, including us. They feared becoming too powerful again would bring back the Star Eaters. But they left instructions to wake you if the Allians returned," said Dr. Choi. "Yes," said Jae-sung, who had been quiet until now. "We agreed to sleep until needed again." A louder explosion rocked the complex. Dust fell from the ceiling. "They're getting closer," warned Jaiwan. Sang-woo suddenly gasped and sat up in his tube. His eyes opened, showing the same star-filled darkness as the others. But his skin remained gray. "Brother," said Seojin, rushing to him. "I hear them," said Sang-woo in a weak voice. "The Star Eaters. They're afraid." He looked at the humans. "Good. Fear will make them careless." "Can you move?" asked Haijin. Sang-woo stood slowly. He was taller than the others, and despite his weakness, power seemed to flow from him. "I have been dying for thousands of years," he said. "I can fight for a few more days." Another explosion, much closer now. "We need to get to the surface," said Captain Jaiwan. "Our forces are there." "No," said Sang-woo. "Your weapons cannot hurt them. But there are weapons here." He walked, with Seojin's help, to a wall at the back of the chamber room. He placed his hand on it, and a hidden door slid open. Inside was a room full of strange objects. Some looked like weapons, others like armor. "The humans of old left these for us," said Sang-woo. He picked up a small silver ball. "With these, we can fight." He looked at Dr. Choi and Captain Ji-won. "Now you must decide. Do you trust what you don't understand? Will you fight beside us?" Before they could answer, the ceiling broke open. Sunlight poured in, and with it, the sounds of alien ships landing. "Time to choose," said Sang-woo as the Forgotten Ones grabbed their weapons. "Fight or hide." Captain Jaiwan checked her gun, then nodded at the Forgotten Ones. "We fight." The first bone crackers dropped through the hole in the ceiling. There were 5 of them, each taller than a human, with 6 arms ending in sharp tools. Their hard shells gleamed in the light. Captain Ji-won and her soldiers fired their guns. The bullets hit the creatures but did little damage. "Stay back," called Seo-jin to the humans. "Watch how we fight them." The Forgotten Ones moved forward with amazing speed. Minho reached the first bone cracker and touched its shell with his bare hand. Where he touched, the creature's body seemed to melt and fall apart. The bone cracker made a high, strange noise and tried to cut Minho with its saw arm, but he was too fast. Jae-sung faced 2 bone crackers at once. He held a small silver rod from the weapons room. When he pointed it at the creatures, they froze in place, unable to move. "Their bodies are mostly machine now," he explained. "I can stop their signals." Within minutes, all 5 bone crackers were destroyed. The human soldiers watched with wide eyes. "We need to get to the surface," said Sang-woo. Though still weak, he stood tall. "Seoul will be their main target now. They know we're awake." They climbed out of the underground complex. Outside, the sky was filled with Allian ships. Some were heading west. "They're going to Seoul," said Dr. Choi, checking his phone. "Admiral Kang says there are hundreds of ships." "Then we go to Seoul too," said Sang-woo. They took the humans' transport ship. On the way, Admiral Kang's face appeared on the video screen. "The Allians are attacking major cities worldwide," she said. Her face was tired and worried. "They've launched thousands of bomb crackers. Our weapons barely slow them down." "We're coming to help," said Captain J1. "And we're bringing friends." The ship landed in Seoul as the sun was setting. The city was in chaos. People ran through the streets as bomb crackers moved among them, catching humans one by one. "We need to split up," said Sang-woo. "Cover more ground." "Dong-hyuk and I will go to the space station above the city," said Jae-sung. "From there, we can attack their ships." "How will you get to a space station?" asked Dr. Choi. Jae-sung smiled. "We have ways." Seo-jin and Min-ho headed downtown, where most bone crackers were hunting. Captain Jae-won and her soldiers went with them. In the main city square, they found dozens of bone crackers surrounding trapped people. "Stay behind me," Seo-jin told the soldiers. Then she and Min-ho ran forward. Their hands began to glow with blue light. Each time they touched a bone cracker, the creature's body broke down like it was made of sand. The bone crackers tried to fight back, swinging their cutting arms, but the forgotten ones were too fast. People watched from windows and doors as Seo-jin and Min-ho destroyed creature after creature. Soon, the square was safe. "What are they?" asked a small boy who had been saved. "Friends," said Captain Jae-won simply. High above the city, in Earth's orbit, Dong-hyuk and Jae-sung had somehow reached the abandoned space station. They placed their hands on the station's controls, and the old machines came to life. "The station has weapons," said Dong-hyuk. "The Allians don't know we can use them." The space station's long-forgotten defense system powered up. Beams of light shot out, hitting 3 alien ships. The ships exploded in silence against the blackened space. Back on Earth, Admiral Kang watched it all on her screens. For the first time since the Allians had attacked, she felt hope. "They're actually hurting them," she said to her officers. "The Forgotten Ones know how to fight these monsters." On another screen, she could see Hai-jin and Eunji in Paris, saving people from bone crackers. In New York, Sang-woo stood alone against 20 creatures, his hands glowing so bright they looked like stars. "Send a message to all Earth forces," Admiral Kang ordered. "Tell them to help the Forgotten Ones however they can. Tell them we now have a chance." As night fell over the world, humans fought alongside their ancient guardians. And for the first time, the Allians knew fear. For 3 days, the Forgotten Ones fought across Earth. They destroyed hundreds of bone crackers. From space, Dong-hyuk and Jae-sung shot down alien ships. On the ground, the others saved thousands of people. But the Allians kept coming. In Seoul, Admiral Kang met with Sang-woo and the others in an underground base. Maps on the walls showed the fighting around the world. "They're sending more ships," she said, pointing to red dots appearing at the edge of Earth's space. "Bigger ones." Sang-woo looked at the maps. His skin was grayer than before. Fighting had made him weaker. "They're scared," he said. "That's why they're sending more." Dr. Choi entered the room with new information. "We just got a message from the Allians. They want to talk." "A trap," said Captain Jae-won immediately. "Maybe," said Sang-woo, "but we should listen. It might tell us something." On the main screen, the face of the High Emissary appeared. It looked the same as when Captain Daho had met it months ago, but now its black eyes seemed angry. "Humans," it said, "you have made a terrible choice. The Forgotten Ones are not your saviors. They are your doom." "Save your lies," said Admiral Kang. "We've seen what you do to our people." "What we do is necessary," replied the emissary. "What they will do is not. They destroyed our world once before. They will destroy yours too." The screen changed to show new ships leaving the bigger alien vessels. From these ships came new creatures, like the bone crackers but different. These were larger, with more arms and eyes on their shell bodies. "Meet the marrow harvesters," said the emissary. They are smarter than bone crackers. They can learn, they can think, and they have one purpose: to kill the forgotten ones. The screen went black. They're scared enough to send their elite forces, said Seo-jin. That's good. How is that good? Asked Dr. Choi. Those things look worse than the bone crackers. Because it means we're winning, said Minho. They wouldn't waste their best weapons if they weren't afraid. Alarms sounded throughout the base. The first marrow harvesters had landed in Seoul. Captain Jae-won checked the security cameras. There are dozens of them heading this way. They move faster than the bone crackers. We need to know why they want human bones so badly, said Admiral Kang. There must be a reason. Sang-woo sat down slowly, looking tired. I know why. I've always known. Everyone turned to him. Human bones contain a special material, he explained. The Allians call it essence material. It has properties that science today doesn't understand. The Allians need it to keep their genetic modifications stable. What does that mean? Asked Jae-won. It means, said Sang-woo, that without human bones, the Allians will start to fall apart. Their whole civilization is built on genetic changes that need this material to stay fixed. Dr. Choi looked shocked. They're harvesting us because they're addicted to something in our bones. Like a drug. More like medicine, said Hae-jin. Without it, they die slowly and painfully as their bodies break down. How do you know this? Asked Admiral Kang. Because it's why we were made, said Sang-woo. We were created to stop them from taking more humans. That's why our touch breaks down their bodies. We target the unstable parts of their genetic structure. The building shook as something hit it from outside. They're here, said Yoon-ji, looking at the security screens. The marrow harvesters. On the screens, they could see the new creatures breaking through the outer doors of the base. They moved with purpose, not the mindless efficiency of the bone crackers. And they were heading straight for the room where the forgotten ones were. They can sense us, said Sang-woo, standing up with difficulty. They were made to hunt us. Then let's give them what they want, said Seo-jin, her eyes flashing with stars. Outside, away from the humans. The forgotten ones prepared to face this new threat. But Sang-woo pulled Dr. Choi aside. There's something else you need to know, he whispered. Something that might end this war for good. Dr. Choi followed Sang-woo to a quiet corner of the room. Outside, they could hear the marrow harvesters getting closer. What is it? Asked Dr. Choi. What might end the war? Sang-woo's voice was low and weak. Inside each of us, inside each forgotten one, is a hidden weapon, the last resort. What kind of weapon? A disease, said Sang-woo. Made to target only alien DNA. If released, it would spread through their entire race. It would break down their genetic structure completely. No more aliens. No more war. Dr. Choi looked shocked. You mean it would kill them all? That's genocide. Yes, said Sang-woo simply. That's why we never used it before. Even at the height of the ancient war, we chose not to release it. Then why tell me now? Because this time may be different. The Allians have grown more desperate. They've harvested more humans in the past months than they did in the entire ancient war. Sang-woo coughed, and Dr. Choi saw blood on his hand. You're getting worse, said Dr. Choi. I'm dying, agreed Sang-woo. My sleep chamber was damaged. But before I die, I need to know, should we use the weapon? In the main room, the others were preparing to fight. Seo-jin looked over at Sang-woo and Dr. Choi, her face worried. What are they talking about? Asked Captain Jae-won. The final option, said Seo-jin quietly. Sang-woo is asking if it's time. Time for what? Before Seo-jin could answer, the doors to the room burst open. 3 marrow harvesters pushed through. They were bigger than bone crackers, with red eyes on their shell bodies. They moved with purpose, heading straight for the forgotten ones. Min-ho and Yoon-ji rushed forward. They touched the first harvester, their hands glowing. But unlike the bone crackers, this creature didn't fall apart right away. It fought back, grabbing Minho with two of its arms. "They've been changed to resist us," shouted Minho as he broke free. Hai Jin and Jae Sung attacked the other harvesters. The room filled with the sounds of fighting. Human soldiers fired their guns, trying to help, but the bullets did nothing to the creatures. Meanwhile, Dr. Choi was still talking to Sangwoo. "How would this weapon work? How would you release it?" "One of us would have to carry it," said Sangwoo. "Our body would become the delivery system. We would need to get to the main alien ship and dissolve there. The disease would spread from our cells." "That's suicide," said Dr. Choi. "Yes," agreed Sangwoo. "But I'm dying anyway." Dr. Choi looked at the battle in the main room. The Forgotten Ones were fighting hard, but more marrow harvesters were coming, and reports from around the world showed thousands more landing. "There must be another way," said Dr. Choi. "We've tried other ways," said Sangwoo, "for thousands of years." Across the room, Seo Jin was thrown against a wall by a harvester. She got up, bleeding but still fighting. "How many humans will die if we don't end this?" asked Sangwoo. "How many Allians will die slowly as they run out of bone material?" "Sometimes there are no good choices, only necessary ones." Dr. Choi looked into Sangwoo's star-filled eyes. "If you do this, you'll die." "I'm already dying," said Sangwoo. "This way, my death has meaning." "You'd need to get to their command ship," said Dr. Choi. "How would you even reach it?" "I'd need help," said Sangwoo. "Human help." In the main room, another wall broke open as more harvesters entered. The Forgotten Ones fought bravely, but they were being pushed back. "We're running out of time," said Sangwoo. "I need to know, will humans help me do what needs to be done? Will you help me end this war once and for all?" Dr. Choi looked at the battle, then at Sangwoo's dying face. "What do you need us to do?" he asked. The plan came together quickly. Admiral Kang provided a small, fast ship. Captain Jae-won volunteered to fly it. "I can get us close to the Alien command ship," she said, "but getting inside will be harder." "Leave that to me," said Sangwoo. Though weak, his eyes burned with determination. The other Forgotten Ones fought to keep the marrow harvesters busy. It was a desperate battle. For each harvester they destroyed, two more seemed to appear. "Go," Seo Jin told Sangwoo as she fought. "End this. We will hold them here." Sangwoo touched each of his siblings one last time. When he reached Seo Jin, he held her hand longer. "Lead them well," he said quietly. "I will remember you," she promised, her eyes full of starlight and sadness. Dr. Choi went with Sangwoo and Captain Jae-won. The small ship took off, heading up through Earth's atmosphere toward the massive Alien command ship that loomed in orbit. "Their ships are alive," explained Sangwoo as they flew. "Part machine, part biological. That's why the weapon will work." As they approached, smaller Alien ships moved to stop them. "Hold on," shouted Jae-won as she flew the ship in wild patterns to avoid enemy fire. A blast hit them, damaging one wing. The ship spun. "We're hit," yelled Dr. Choi. "Get us closer," said Sangwoo calmly. "I only need to touch their hull." Jae-won fought with the controls. The ship wobbled but kept moving toward the massive Alien vessel. "There," she said, pointing to a docking area. "I can get us close to that." More blasts hit around them. Their ship was smoking now, barely flying. "It's enough," said Sangwoo. He stood up, his legs shaking. "Thank you both. For everything." "Wait," said Dr. Choi. "How will we get away after?" Sangwoo smiled sadly. "You won't. None of us will." Before they could react, Sangwoo touched both humans on their foreheads. They fell unconscious immediately. "Forgive me," he whispered, "but this is my fight to finish alone." Using the last of his strength, he carried Dr. Choi and Captain Jae-won to the escape pod. He set the controls to take them back to Earth, then launched it away from the damaged ship. Now alone, Sangwoo piloted the failing vessel straight at the Alien command ship. Alarms blared as he crashed into the docking area. The impact threw him forward. He was bleeding as he crawled from the wreckage. Allians rushed toward him, their 4 arms reaching to capture this intruder. "Remember me," said Sangwoo, standing up one last time. "Remember Earth." He closed his eyes and activated the hidden protocol within his body. Pain shot through him as his cells began to change. His body started to break down, dissolving into billions of microscopic particles. Each particle carried the weapon, the disease designed to unravel alien DNA. The aliens tried to retreat, but it was too late. The particles spread through the air system of the living ship. Within minutes, every alien on board began to feel the effects. Within hours, the disease had spread to every alien ship connected to the command vessel. On Earth, Dr. Choi and Captain G1 woke up in the escape pod as it landed. They rushed to the command center where Admiral Kang and the other Forgotten Ones waited. "Sangwoo did it," said Dr. Choi, looking at the screens. All around Earth, alien ships were failing. The bone crackers and marrow harvesters were collapsing. "The disease is working," said Hyjin. "Their biological technology is breaking down." Seo Jin stood quietly, watching the screens. "He saved us all." In the days that followed, humanity began to rebuild. The remaining aliens fled, their numbers too few to continue the fight. The surviving Forgotten Ones, Seo Jin, Dong-Huk, Hyjin, Minho, Yunji, and Jae-sung, stayed to help. They shared their knowledge and their strength. "What will you do now?" Admiral Kang asked Seo Jin one evening, as they watched the sunset over a healing soul. "We will help you prepare," said Seo Jin. "The universe is vast, with many dangers and wonders. Humans should not face it alone." She looked up at the stars beginning to appear in the darkening sky. "Sangwoo gave his life so humanity could have a future. We will honor that sacrifice by making sure it's a future worth having." Across Earth, people began to tell the story of how, when the Allians unleashed the bone crackers, humanity unleashed the Forgotten Ones, and how together they saved the world.